17. That's how old he was. 17, an age where most of us were begging our parents for a used Civic with questionable brakes and a Bluetooth adapter that only worked if you held your phone at a 37-degree angle. But not this kid. No, this kid bought a $1.2 million hypercar. Cash. And 3 days later, he turned that same hypercar, a screaming, fire-breathing, 1,000 horsepower mechanical demon, into a modern art sculpture made entirely of carbon fiber, shattered aluminum, and his hopes and dreams. But the real story? The real story is way crazier than rich kid crashes expensive car. Because what happened before and what happened after is something you will not believe. So first, let's get one thing clear. This wasn't some trust fund baby whose life mission was to make Instagram jealous. This kid, let's call him Ethan, earned his money. Well, sort of. He didn't win the lottery. He didn't inherit a fortune. He didn't discover oil while digging in the backyard. He built a YouTube channel. No joke. When he was 13, he started posting videos of himself fixing up old dirt bikes he bought from Craigslist. Then he moved on to ATVs, then cheap project cars, then not so cheap project cars. And by the time he was 17, he had 3 million subscribers, a merch line that sold out every drop, brand deals with companies you and I can't afford to shop at, and an accountant who still calls his income deeply concerning. So when Ethan walked into the Hypercar dealership with a baseball cap, a hoodie, and a face that still had the faint outline of last week's acne, the salesman thought he was lost. Like, wildly lost. Son, the Toyota dealership is 2 blocks down. Ethan just smiled, pulled out his phone, opened his banking app, and turned the screen around. The salesman squinted, then squinted harder, then suddenly forgot how to breathe. Let's just say zeros do something to people, especially when there are that many of them. In less than 2 hours, Ethan walked out of that dealership as the youngest owner of a $1.2 million hypercar in the entire country. And you'd think that'd be the craziest part. But oh no, not even close.
The car itself was ridiculous, a machine designed for professional drivers with nerves of steel, not teenagers whose brains are still in software update mode. We're talking over 1,000 horsepower, 0 to 60 in blink and pray, a top speed that requires permission from God, a traction control system that's basically optional, and Ethan, sweet summer child, decides the first thing he wants to do with his new hypercar is film a YouTube video. Of course he does. He parks it in front of his house, a normal suburban house, mind you, where the car looks so out of place that even the mailbox is judging him. His neighbors walk by like, what in the midlife crisis level nonsense is happening over there? And Ethan starts filming the video that will unfortunately become legendary. Day 1 with the new hypercar. He's hyped, he's glowing, he's living in a movie. Day 2. He films again. Nothing has gone wrong yet. He's cruising around town at safe speeds, waving at people who think they're hallucinating. And then comes Day 3. The day everything goes straight to automotive hell. Ethan wakes up, decides he's ready to test it a little. By test it, he means turn off traction control on a car that should never, ever, ever have traction control turned off unless we're on a track, a runway, or the surface of the moon. But see, Ethan has watched Formula One. Ethan has watched car YouTubers. Ethan believes in himself. He rolls the car out to an empty industrial road, perfectly flat, perfectly quiet, perfectly designed for bad decisions. Camera on, engine rumbling like a T-Rex clearing its throat, Ethan looks into the lens and says the fateful words, "I'm just gonna do a small pull." Everyone who has ever driven a high-powered car knows there is no such thing as a small pull in $1 million hypercar. That's like saying you're gonna lightly dabble with a rocket engine. He launches. The car doesn't accelerate, it lunges forward like a cheetah thrown out of a cannon. The rear tires spin, the car fishtails, Ethan panics, overcorrects, undercorrects, recorrects, And then, Inception style, time slows down. The car snaps sideways, jumps the curb, skids over a patch of gravel, and slams straight into an electrical box. Boom. Airbags, smoke, the smell of burnt rubber and shattered pride. Silence. Just silence. And Ethan sitting there thinking, well, that video's gonna get views.
But here's the twist no one saw coming. The crash wasn't the worst part, because the moment Ethan climbs out of that hypercar, dazed, shaken, covered in airbag dust and disappointment, someone is already filming him. Not a fan, not a friend, a random guy walking his dog. And within hours, the video is on social media. People go wild. 17-year-old crashes $1 million hypercar. Most expensive oops in teenager history. Bro couldn't even legally vote but totaled a supercar. Memes, articles, reaction videos, dramatic commentary. But the turning point isn't the humiliation, it's the call he gets next. Not from the dealership, not from the insurance company, from his dad. And his dad says something that flips Ethan's whole world upside down. Son, there's something you need to know about that car. But he doesn't explain. He just tells Ethan to come home, immediately. And when Ethan walks into the living room, bruised, terrified, emotionally fried, his dad is sitting there with this look on his face. A look Ethan has never seen before. A look that says, this goes way deeper than you think. Because that $1.2 million hypercar, it wasn't just rare, it wasn't just exotic, it wasn't just expensive. It had a secret the dealership didn't tell him, a secret Ethan's dad knew, a secret that explains everything about why that car should never, ever have been in the hands of a 17-year-old. And in part 2, we're going to uncover exactly what that secret was. And trust me, it changes everything.